the horses are now nearing the starting gate.
And they're off.
As the field comes into the stretch. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aqueduct. Mostly sunny skies on a breezy Sunday here at the Big A. Temperature will be in the mid to upper 50s later on this afternoon. The main track is fast. The turf courses are good. The portable rail is up at 12 feet on the outer turf and at 9 feet on the inner. We have a jackpot carryover in today's Empire 6, and that is more than $98,000. We don't yet have the changes for today's card. We'll be coming back at around 11:20 to give you those changes. First race post today is at 11:50. Again, the main track is fast. The turf courses are good. And the Empire 6 jackpot carryover is $98,297. Coming up in a few minutes, the Sunday edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Andy Serling, joined by my man, the big ace Stabile. Got a lot to cover today. Should we get right to work?
Sure.
Let's head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, best way to play the races, here, there, everywhere, anywhere. Play through Naira Bets, Sport Racing in New York. Keep the money in the game. Use promo code MATCH200, and we will give you up to $200 of your initial deposit bonus. Also, cross-country pick 5. Every day we're running Aqueduct and Churchill through November 29th. Today is races 8 and 9 here at Aqueduct, as well as races 6, 7, and 9 at Churchill Downs. Keep in mind, Churchill Downs off the turf at least through next Sunday, when they'll reevaluate things. Head over to naira.com/cross-country for free PPs. Also, we got that cross-country, continental, whatever, $10 bonus. Last race here, Delmar's 3rd race. All right, Anthony, we got to get to work. We got a lot to talk about today.
I'm ready, man.
I'm glad somebody's ready around here. Race number 1.
Always ready.
I want to start the race by talking about Duncastle and Ian Glass, and I think I picked Ian Glass on top in this race. Duncastle was able to get away with murder on the front end last time. Once you get a 23-1 first quarter, which is about 24 and change on the dirt. Race was sort of over. This old pro I've always been a fan of, ran well, and I thought Ian Glass was the one who was compromised the most by the lack of pace in there. And while I thought overall he didn't have a terrible trip, chasing outside when most of the running was done on the inside, I thought he ran a good race. And the thing about this race is that there is more pace, and we'll get to New York's Finest in just a moment. I have a question for you. You really like the 1A here, who can't run anymore.
I'm giving Dowse's Beach one more chance on a wet turf.
Okay, let me just say something. That's fine. You've got an entry mate in here that's taking all the money, and we'll show the entry mate New York's Finest last race, and he's the one who's going to make Duncastle's life miserable. There's a couple of problems. You want to go with your off-turf thing, have my blessing. Go ahead. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
You got a horse that can't run anymore. And he's also a horse that's only effective on the front end in Dowse's Beach. He's not getting the front end unless everybody else decides to just rip their faces off their mounts. And you're taking the worst of it because of his entry mate. And this is New York's Finest, the horse who will get in the way of Dowse's Beach, of Duncastle, in theory. How is this horse a horse to pick, even if you like him? What would price he be in his own?
I don't know, to be honest.
We have a messenger here. You can give him to Anthony.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
A very important man just entered the room. The great and legendary Eric Donovan.
One of the greatest of all time. That's
looking very sharp today. Thank you, Eric. You're a great man.
I don't know what price he would be on his own, and I know I'm taking the worst of it here. The problem I had here is I like the horse who figures to be the main speed. I shouldn't even say main speed because we don't know what he.
I mean, you may get bailed out by the entry mate. Okay, let me make a bet with you. We're at 52.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the 6 over the 1A.
Sure.
Okay. We can bet 2 lunches.
We're at 52 or 50?
52.
I won the other day.
No, I won. Horse was the favorite.
12th labor was the last bet?
Yeah.
I thought we made one the next day.
We did? I have no memory.
When was 12? I don't either. It's like a big blur right now. All right, make it 52. Yeah, I'll take 2. I think Dowse's Beach is going to rebound on the wet turf today.
If you can find the other bet, let us know. If somebody heard it and they want to tweet us.
I think you're right. I think 12th labor was Friday, and we had nothing yesterday. I think you're right.
Yeah, we had nothing yesterday, for sure.
Yeah,
I won my lunch bet with Roddy Valenti. That was on Friday. We didn't have a lunch bet Friday. I won my lunch bet with Roddy.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
You lost more than lunch, Roddy. You may have to have lunch with me sometime.
Yeah.
We disagree in here. We disagree not only in your selection, but in the philosophy. I think you may get bailed out by the 1, but once again, I'm never going to pick the higher priced half an entry. I think that's a terrible way to look at it, because maybe you're right about the 1A, but when you're right about the 1A and you get 560 on them, it feels like you lost, not won.
I understand what you're saying.
Well, you did.
do.
I mean,
I get what you're saying.
We are gamblers here. What about Dr. Shane? Can he run it all anymore? I do think cutting back to 6 furlongs will help his chances a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you would imagine it would help, but they've kind of been trying to find their way with him now, and he might just be a 7, get ready to turn 8 years old in 6 weeks.
He just kind of lost his best form. He was involved in the pace, but he dueled with a horse who ran 4th. It was a big long shot. So it's not like the pace totally collapsed, and he was the only one that held on. Race number 2 is the Key Sense. Only 5 will line up here for this race.
I had a tough time with this race for a field of 5.
Well, you made it very easy. You threw out your man, Ray Handel, on Rosa Veloce, who in my opinion is the horse to beat in this race. We'll take a look at Rosa Veloce's maiden win. I don't care what she did in the Matron. She's not a turf horse.
Right.
And the next time out, I don't know. She sort of didn't really run a race. She did get engaged in the pace. But I'm going to believe that her maiden race showed that she had ability, and I'm going to hope she gets back to it today. You've just got no love whatsoever for Rosa Veloce.
Yeah, I don't know. The maiden race, what happened? The Seeking the Ante, I guess she just chased to nowhere. I don't.
She didn't run well. I agree.
You know, and then it was almost like they gave up on her. They could have run her in the Maid of the Mist and opted to try to turf instead. There's not a lot of turf breeding.
Well, that was a poor choice of races, but I guess they wanted to have a pipe dream. They go to the Breeders' Cup and they took a shot.
So now it's like you wasted 2.5 months with her, and yeah, I guess she's getting back to what she's supposed to do. But I don't know, that Seeking the Ante was just not a good race.
I'm not. See, the horse that, you're against the 2. I'm kind of against the 3 Party at Pages here. I don't have a big problem. She didn't handle the mile last time.
We got to put somebody third, though.
Well, it's obvious. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't love Party Page's races. I think she may be meeting some better horses in here. And I didn't, I know she was a mile last time, and it was a fast pace, to be fair to her. She's not impossible in here. I just kind of want some other ones. I mean, frankly, Chasing Cara ran much better than she did last time. Why am I supposed to take her over Chasing Cara? You don't have the money at all.
I was ready to I actually had Party of Pages on top for about 3 minutes. And I went back and looked and said, she had that giant inside track at Saratoga when she broke her maiden.
Right.
She beat a couple. She was life and death to win at Finger Lakes, a 3-horse duel where the 3rd horse is still a maiden.
That's the problem.
So, I just don't want her at a bad price. I mean, she's going to be. You might be right with Rosa Veloce. One of them is going to be the favorite.
No, maybe Party of Pages.
Yeah.
Maybe your horse, Shane's Pretty Label. Take a look at her. This was Gary Gullo's last winner in New York.
It was.
I wish Gary the best, obviously, in his new endeavor as a stable manager. I wouldn't, I hope he makes $1 zillion somewhere, but I hope he comes back and trains some days. I miss Gary. I like Gary. I think he's a terrific trainer. His last training win, they got the money. I believe it's the last training win with this horse.
It was.
I'm still on this little skeptical how good this race was. And I got to tell you something. I picked her second. I think she can run a little, but she got some setup in this race.
She got a great setup. She did get a good setup. I'm not saying she didn't, but I mean, don't you feel like there should be a decent enough setup in here? Chasing Cara's on the inside. I would think she's going to be forwardly placed. No?
No. I think it'll be a moderate pace. Well, she can win. What about Vacay? What do you like about her? First race was awful. It's a terrible field, Anthony.
I know it was. It was also in a slop.
Okay.
I had a little push on her first time out, too. Maybe she just overcame the slop and now getting on fast ground. I almost put her on top. But the other
Bono, she beat.
I know. Believe me. Listen,
should be 50-1.
Here, I'm going to give it to you early again today. Here's the thing. They're kind of all a little suspect in who they've beaten so far.
I don't disagree.
You know?
I don't disagree.
I think that's that's the one thing they all have in common is the fact that they've all faced questionable bunches. And yeah, you might be right. Shane's Pretty Lady got a really good setup. And Rosa Veloce was able to kind of boss him around on the front end first time. I
wouldn't say she bossed him around.
She was doing. You're right. But yeah,
Nomo Spending, who's a stakes winner now. She runs that race. That was her debut. She's going to win.
That was probably the best race any of them.
Oh, without question.
Yeah, that was probably the best field any of them has faced.
I agree. Listen, maybe Vacay didn't like the slop, but I'm not going to bet her based on the fact that I'm hoping she didn't like the mud. I mean, she did run okay in the context of the race. But I got a little push on her. She got out of the maiden ranks in the slop, and now she's going to be the 4th choice in here. I thought about putting her on. I know she should be, but I'm saying. I'm not sure she is. I think she should be the 5th choice, but she could win. I don't disagree. I'm not in love with anybody in here. Race number 3. Take a look at Glynn County, the horse you have on top, winning down at Kentucky Downs, and they obviously bit off more they can chew last time out. My slight problem with Glynn County is the one big figure is at Kentucky Downs, and that worries me a little bit.
I kind of think, though.
I better second. I'm not.
He ran close enough to that race when he broke his maiden, when he ran in Saratoga, and last time
out. Not really. You're going to use turf figures when horses get beaten 5 and 6 lengths to really judge their quality? Haven't we been through that dilemma?
Yeah, but isn't he in the right spot today?
Yeah, he's very logical here. He's very logical, and you got to think his entry mate's going to go. The problem I had was I kind of wanted to take a flyer with his entry mate, rejected again. It would be a huge price in his own. He's the main speed, and he actually has some turf pedigree. So I actually thought he was mildly interesting in this race, but you can't take him because he's part of the entry. Yeah, I have no argument. It's horse to horse to beat. I don't think it's any.
I don't want to say I copped out here, but I couldn't.
Well, who are you supposed to take in here?
That's what it was. I there was no fuzzy in here for me. I thought this was kind of straightforward.
Do we have a trainer stat in here for Mike Stidham? I think we do. You know, I thought Make My Day could be interesting, winning off the long layoff. Beat a horse that's okay. Mike Stidham does not have strong numbers off maiden wins, and this horse is moving up a little bit. The figure says the horse can run. Similar could be said about Till Then, who has to run better, but I didn't really want the maiden breakers. I mean, it's kind of 1, 6, and 11 are the main players, I think, in this race on paper. I don't think there's anything majorly clever going on. We'll take a look at...
it's so hard to trust our country at this point.
I agree.
And we'll take money.
Well, I thought Life on Top is okay. We'll take a look at Life on Top beating Our Country up in Saratoga very, very late in the meet. New Gelding ran in a tough race first time for Rob Atras. Also chased outside on a day you wanted to be inside in the turf course. We saw the winner of that race upset a stake at a huge price. This horse might be coming out of sneakily a very, very tough race.
Yeah, and he was kind of against it last time. That's the day Ever Dangerous surprisingly went to the front end and dominated on the lead.
Well, Basquiat was foolishly rated in that race. If he'd gone to the lead, he would have won that race.
I mean, he talking about getting away with murder on the front end, almost 50 to the half. And this horse actually made a little bit of a middle move. And
he didn't run badly in there.
He was the only other horse I was really interested in.
Yeah, no, I think we picked the two favorites here. I don't think any of us are covering any particularly big ground here.
I thought it was that. I thought it was a straightforward enough race where if Glynn County showed up, I thought he would win. But the interesting horse was the Fresh Gelding.
All right, race number 4. No surprise. And by the way, did Johnny give the scratches out?
No.
You know what? Why don't I give the scratches out for today's card so people that are at home can see who's scratched out of the races, because I tweeted them. I'll find my tweet with them. Hang on. So in the first race, take out race numbers 10, 11, 12, 13. In the third race, take out the 2, 3, 5, 10, 12, 13. 2, 3, 5, 10, 12, 13. Race 4, take out the 6, Hit the Woe, who won here on Friday. Fifth race, take out the 3. 6th race, take out the 11, 13, 14. 11, 13, 14 out of the 6th. 7th race, take out the 10. 8th race, take out the 5. 9th race, take out the 8, the MTO. And the last race, race number 10, 3, 10, 14. That's a very quick run through the scratches, very efficient. Race number 4. I think in race number 4, we're dealing with a lot of horses that ran. I wanted to show Sugar Surge's race last half mile, because Sugar Surge, coming from Laurel, doesn't that trouble line steadied. I got to tell you, this steady was, well, those 3 Diamond Silks are everywhere. I thought this steady was, and you just heard me before, relatively meaningless. I mean, did it really affect this horse dramatically?
Never lost any position.
I thought this horse kind of hung like a chandelier, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to show it. I thought this horse got great position behind horses. You're going to see Rosado split horses. Looks like a winner, and just, I mean, look at this. I mean, you can't really set up a better trip for a horse. This horse, I mean, at this point, you're going to the winner's circle, right?
Much, yeah, I mean, you can't, your Naira Bets account is flush right now.
The horse in the rail wins.
Horse is home.
Horse looked like he could finish out of the try.
That does not happen a lot at Laurel when the horse is young horse comes up the inside and puts it on you.
As they're supposed to have won. Supposed to have won.
Man, I don't know. Now shipping up here, that was an off the turf race. Yeah, I was not a fan this afternoon.
So you've gone to Christophe Klein. Is there a tip on Harper's Challenge charge?
I have no.
Let me ask you a question. Manny was named on this one, and Joel was named on the other one. Now, did he just think in all likelihood the other one was probably going to run on Friday, Thursday? The race was going to Friday. The race.
I would imagine, right, with the forecast, you would think that horse.
Not a knock on Manny, but Rosario's his first call guy.
Yeah, but Rosario also rode Hit the Wall first time.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Anything on the pedigree on this one?
No.
So why are we picking it?
I just thought the horse was going to be a middling price and a race full of firsters with... I mean, look, this guy's horses are all running, and the first-time starters just seemingly just...
Well, the turf horse is more than the dirt horses, right?
Yeah, but almost won in Saratoga. He had the other filly win.
That was 4 months ago.
He had the other... No, he had a filly win. Didn't he have He had Space Launch wins, and I know these were all turf horses.
Turf.
Trying to think of there was a dirt filly. I cannot remember who it was. I picked you. I was made fun of for picking her, though. She won.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Don't come up with made-up things.
I'm just trying to. I'm telling you that there was
making fun of you for picking first. I'm just wondering why you picked it.
The guy's winning right now. I mean, that's a big. I think if we ignore that around here, that's not,
well.
not
I get. Listen,
to,
you base your handicapping on that. I don't, and maybe it works. I don't. It's not something I really look at. I took the one command and control. I think there's a quality road I thought that might be able to run from this barn. It's kind of better turf when you look at the pedigree. And I figured Chad Brown putting this horse in the dirt, given the pedigree was turf, and I've never talked to Chad about this horse. I thought maybe that was kind of a good sign for this horse. I mean, I think one of the reasons I like horses like the 1 and 4 is there aren't that much going on in this race. The 5's kind of tough to take. Loose Scoot and Boogie is eligible. He was running in those lower restricted races for the thing.
The 3 horses that have run, I don't really want much to do with the 3 horses that have run.
I thought the 9 was kind of dangerous. I thought the workout was pretty good. The 10 and a 5th workout paid $185,000. I mean, a couple of foals were okay from the dam. I thought this was a very dangerous firster outside. Irad riding for John Kimmel. Do you recall Irad riding much for John Kimmel?
He named him on Cristal. I don't know if he ever got a chance to ride her.
Well, is he riding her today? No, he's riding for Chad Brown.
Jose might be.
What about the 2, Temperament Twist? A lot of money for giving this horse's pedigree.
This is a weird one for Suge, and I'm going to tell you why it's a weird one.
Tell me why.
You never see 4 works. You see 8, 9. You very rarely see such a moderate work tab.
That is weird.
Never see this.
There had to be work somewhere. Is it possible this horse was working much earlier and something happened?
They usually have. I mean,
somewhere else.
They usually have those.
That is weird.
Even they have the quarter-mile pacing works in March. In the racing form.
That's pretty much what I base my handicapping on.
No, but I'm just saying that when they start recording at the end of March, this was the whole thing. It would lead you to believe that the horse was maybe at a training center on a farm where they don't have workouts, because the other thing was it was only a half mile. But with that said, to me,
still
that
a little
means
weird.
Suge's only had this horse for
is that good or bad?
5-6 weeks. I'd rather have Suge have his hand on him than not, to be honest with you. So
race number 5. Going 1 mile on the dirt. Thought we'd start off by taking a look at Flowers for Lisa beating Control Group 2 races back. Flowers for Lisa got caught up in that vicious duel, and actually I thought ran remarkably well last time, given how wild the pace was. I'm not a big fan of Control Group, as you know, and I feel like I sort of put my ear up and I can hear the clock striking midnight for this horse. And I got a feeling we're about to see the clock strike midnight. Struggling with this race?
That would not be a surprise to me. But East, if you're talking about the barn and the horse, I think it's 2 different things. He's an old pro, man. Here he is. And he's going to have to do this. I know he's going to have to rate again today, because there are 3 faster horses in this race.
He got blown off the track by this horse that day.
I know he did.
Why is it supposed to be different today?
Well, because I think this horse is going to face. I think Flowers Felicia faces some pressure today. Giodoro.
But she's drawn outside.
Giodoro or Malibu Pro have to put some pressure on her.
I don't think that Joel is going to be in an all-out, and that's one of the reasons I picked Malibu Pro.
Then I would think Giodoro first off the Rudy claim.
We'll see.
This is a horse that used to have, this horse had some gas.
Listen, he resurrected that horse of Linda's yesterday, so I imagine that Rudy's capable of resurrecting
Rudy's
just about anybody.
Rudy's horse is running well right now. This horse used to have some real gas, a lot of speed, and I would imagine that Manny is going to be aggressive when the gate opens today. And
no, I agree. It's hard to imagine it doesn't go, and I don't disagree. I don't know necessarily how the fast pace is going to help Control Group, except maybe just gets a perfect trip behind him. Maybe you're right, and it is hard to make a case for the 1 here. I like American Lincoln, but I just don't think he's good enough. I was hoping that Joel with Malibu Pro would sit in the garden spot outside of them. I do not trust Control Group at all. Malibu Pro is going to be a much better price. I was hoping he could stalk in here and pounce. We'll see. It's a very tricky race, but my feeling is Control Group can win. I don't trust this horse at all, because he was basically on the scrap heap when Notice claimed him.
Yes,
and
he was.
they performed as big a miracle with him as just about any of their miracles. They've had a lot of them.
Rudy had him again, and Rudy couldn't get him,
right.
pointed in the right direction.
So at some point, the chimes are going to bell for that horse.
Maybe.
And
Look,
I'm not going to be on him when it happens.
I wanted 2s and 7s, little 4s.
No Flowers for Lisa.
I don't like Flowers. I'm against Flowers for Lisa today.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the first 5, the late pick 5, coming up after a quick break.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Race number 6, and welcome back to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling. Race number 6. I want to start the conversation here with a horse who is 7-2. I'm going to take money in the morning line. You know, we showed it one of the replays yesterday from Keeneland. It proved very prescient. I don't like Candace Owen here. I'm not saying she's impossible. I don't know. Maybe nobody can run in here. This was not a particularly good performance by this horse last time out.
And this was talking about a bunch hitting
you
the wire
could not
together.
have gotten a better trip. And Rispoli angles out like going to just go on by. And I would say idling would be the best thing you could say about this horse. I'm not saying she can't win, but I thought this effort was really poor.
And this race has not come up well. The Gray Filly, who you're going to see in the middle of the scrum there, I think she ran 7th. She came back as the favorite the other day. Perfect Trip did not win. There was a Brian Hernandez filly in the race. Came back, did not
Well, it was a blanket finish
well.
race, you know.
Yep,
and
7, 8 of them hit the wire within 2 lengths of each other, and that race has not been good as of yet.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with a lot of the maiden
And that
races.
horse had a brilliant. I put her second today. She had a brilliant trip last time in a race where there were a couple of other trips that were a lot tougher than hers. And yeah, she looked like when he tipped her out, it looked like she was just going to roll on. But she was one of the favorites that day too on debut for Grand Motion. I think Mott wound up going off second choice. The Rusty-Owen filly, the Gray filly we were talking about, was like 4-1. So this filly was second choice in her. That board was wide open.
So we heard about linear thinking before Saratoga.
Yeah.
Tell you the truth, I spoke to Chad Brown about this horse for about 30 seconds up in Saratoga. He was just surprised that somebody had heard about this horse and given us a tip. And the horse had a mild issue, was entered about a month or so ago. It's at Belmont and got rained off. So she has been ready to run. There's a lot of horses backed up. We'll see if she's a runner. She's another horse, a Chamardel coming over from Europe, supposed to be a runner. I'm a little annoyed that the 1A got in traffic lane, who I don't like at all, because I think the 1 Never Content is a little dangerous. And I know Never Content was 30-1 first time out. This horse had absolutely no place to run. Broke about 3/4 slow, Never Content, and was just completely buried behind horses everywhere he tried to go. Now, she tried to go. That was that ridiculous bog on closing day at Belmont, and I have absolutely no idea if this horse can run or not. I wanted to sort of use her, but with the other one getting in, I don't bet entries.
You probably lost half your
4
price.
points on your price, and it's just no good. No good. Not the other one's going to be short, but it's going to hurt your price. I just don't want to for the price of 1. It never seems to work out. Yeah. I had the 10 Bryn Bella in there for Todd, but I thought the rest of it was just guessing. I mean, you've got to have your prerequisite mod in, but that was...
I like the 2 sprints to the route and the switch to the turf, but truth be told, been waiting for linear thinking for a while, so I'm going to be...
Do you have some story on this horse that I don't have?
I was before Saratoga. This was the filly, I was told.
Oh, well, we were told by somebody who may be kind of unreliable, now that I remember the story. This horse was at Stone Street, so I'm sure somebody at Stone Street had given someone a tip on that horse. We'll see what happens. Race number 6, 2-year-olds in turf. And saw some nice 2-year-olds yesterday. Tommy Albertrani with that grass horse. That horse ran well in there. Speeds held together. Race number 7. Well, the 10 scratched in here. B-side is going to be an overwhelming favorite in this race. And we'll take a look at B-side 2. Actually, going back to a nightmare beat for me on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, this was a tough beat. This was a tough beat.
Yeah. There's a photo. I was second in it.
Yeah. My boy, bad guy, got all jammed up on it. This was not a good race for either of us, actually. You and I lamented that this was how we ended 2019. Little did we know what 2020 had in store, my friend. Yeah, look, this was not the last, but the penultimate start on dirt before a four-way run on the dirt. And, yeah, this horse, look, Andy.
Probably
I have to imagine you were thinking the same thing I was thinking.
This is a hopeless field on paper.
What are you going to
Well, the 10 was the other horse and run. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I have a significant argument with you.
What do I do now?
There are three. I've been arguing with your selections. There are three horses coming out of the same race. I don't agree with David that Vitesse will be anywhere near the price that Beachside is. I hope that he is, because I think there are three coming out of there: Miami Gina, Vitesse, and Quintarelli, and the last one you want is Vitesse. We're only going to circle Quintarelli to keep it easier, and Vitesse. Vitesse just sucks up for fourth as the race fell apart at the end under a heavy drive the entire way. Quintarella, I don't know where, and we'll see the stretch run Eric Cancel thought he was going, but hopefully he finds a little more room in this race because he got completely, totally squeezed out. But the other thing is the horse on the far outside is Miami Gina, who didn't really break that sharply, dropped back, and then made this preposterous 4 or 5 wide half-mile move into the race.
It's like a harness
and
race
frankly
move.
didn't run that badly. So to me, the horses you want out of this race are Miami Gina and Quintarella. Mentally, I know Quintarelli isn't that good, but Quintarelli got completely eliminated in this race trying to make a move, and I just thought Vitesse did a little running when the race was over. I thought the 5 and 7 were at much better prices, far better bets.
Okay. I thought it was 9-1-9-5.
Yeah, I think that
I wanted 9-1 with a little 9-5.
I think the play is to play against the one in this race
Okay.
for second and probably even third in the tries and try to beat him with both the horses coming out of the race, who will be significantly better prices, in my opinion, are just more likely to win. The problem, I mean, it's not like where are the special races from Vitesse, who barely runs, runs by appointment only.
Yeah, but Andy, her three dirt races.
Yeah, no, you're right. I know.
Her
Well,
last,
I mean,
her last 2 dirt races are better than.
Quintarelli has figures that are fine. 72 buyer last year, 69 buyer,
That
66.
wasn't even last year. That was this winter. Yeah,
Well, I
past
mean,
winter. You're right.
they're not so bad. I mean,
guess
Miami
not.
Gina's a little tough to take,
But
she
they've
got
also
some
had so many
preposterous ride.
opportunities. Amongst those good races, there are some bad races in their form,
You're right.
and Vitesse really doesn't have.
But if Vitesse is 5-2 and those horses are 8, 10, 12-1,
I would make the case for Miami Gina. I don't want Quintarelli. I would make the case more for Miami
he's got
Gina.
some races fast enough.
I guess Miami Gina did make that
horrible ride
wild.
last time.
Looked like an old Luke Willett half-mile move at Yonkers and just went wide to nowhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was preposterous.
9-1-9. It's 9-1-9-5. But listen, 9-1's going to be paying $4 in this race. So
No, it's
I'm not giving.
No, it's not. But
You don't think so?
No.
For $1?
no, well, I think they'll be paying more than that.
Wow.
Let's see. That's a pretty.
You want to go 5 a push? I got 4 and under.
Sure. No, I get $5. You said 4. You get $4.90. I'll take 5.
Deal. Go ahead. I'll take a lunch. I just don't know where else they're going to go.
I think you're going to be surprised.
Okay.
That's a very short exacta.
I know it is. I just what else do you want in there?
Doesn't matter. I think you're oversimplifying it.
Okay.
Race number 8. Race number 8. Take a look at Bears Mafia. What happened to Bears Mafia? What a horse he's turned into. What has he won? 6 straight races? I mean, he blasted the field, but I got to tell you something.
And he's not winning, Andy. I mean, look at these margins.
I know.
He's galloped
He's
4.5, 4,
running
6 1/4.
He's also running a significantly better field than Riken and Big Boy Mo.
Right, and I mean, he got Riken kind of started going the other way up in Saratoga, and Ricken, you got me to do it too. It's Ricken.
It's spelled Riken,
and
so stick to the way they're spelled.
And he just sat there and inherited them. But it's not, again, it's not the way he's inheriting. He's inheriting these horses, just blowing their doors off. I mean, he's winning these races. He pick up a stone and throw it. So he's just galloping home. And this is a Bears Mafia. We remember Bears Mafia. We remember the 2 for 16 Bears Mafia that proverbially, as you'd like to say, couldn't outrun you and me in a horseshoe.
One in sloppy, tried a different horse, a good horse.
Yeah.
He's a player. I thought the race got much, much tougher in here. As we'll take a look at the race, the Tail of the Union comes out of it. I didn't include More Grateful, apparently. I meant to. I guess I got More Grateful, finished 4th in here. The tail union, I think, will benefit from breaking on the far outside. Horses that are having some mild gait issues, they often break better when they get the clean outside. I thought he ran very well in here behind a horse that got absolutely loose in the lead. What is the big attraction to More Grateful? Because you're not the only person I've seen like this horse. What do you like about him?
It's look, Bears Mafia has been as consistent as they come lately, right? And for some reason, for me, Tail of the Union is disappointed a whole lot more than he has rewarded.
Well, I mean, he's been compromised by moderate paces in 2 straight races, and I think he draws outside. I'm not in love with him. And I got to tell you something. Bob Baffert's not training here. John Terranova's had this horse now for what? 5 months. Can we please list the trainers that are training these horses? John Terranova is a terrific trainer, but it's not fair for people to think that Bob Baffert is training this horse. He's not. John Terranova, Tanya Terranova are training this horse. Come on, guys.
He's disappointed a lot in his career, a lot since he's come to New York. I'm not this horse's biggest.
You're not wrong. You're not
I'm
wrong.
not this horse's biggest fan.
I know you're not.
I felt like More Grateful is going to get.
We got to do better. He's going to get a good trip because that doesn't mean anything.
He's going to get a good setup. I mean, what was really? He was chasing Foolish Ghost last time.
It was a slow pace. That's the thing. He was on top of the slow pace, and the horse was compromised by it. I mean, and he got beaten a length and a quarter by it.
I think he's going to get a better setup to that. It's not even
you're dressing up words for your. I think he's going to get a good trip argument.
I don't think he's going to have to. I don't think he's going to have to be the one pressing, even though it was a slow pace.
It wasn't pressing. He was sitting on top of a moderate pace.
But
his racing has been successful. He's been on top of paces, Anthony. It's nowhere near the pace he was on August 5th.
5.5 furlong, those 5.5 furlong races in Saratoga.
But it was still a much faster pace.
It was, but
it's just a much weaker field.
Yeah, I think
it was a bad field he beat.
It wasn't a good field. No, I don't think it was. I think he's the price of the 3 in all likelihood.
Not going to be a big price, this horse. Everybody likes this horse.
He's still got to be 4th choice, no? He's got to be shorter prices than the 2, 3, and 9.
I guess some things depend on how, but he could be 7-2 or 4-1, how they bet Gandy Dancing. Why can't Gandy Dancing win here? He was way over his head last time, and there's race 2 back. I don't love those horses he beat, and it feels like the Hours of 2 are just better horses.
Those should be 6-2, 3-9. This is the second time I did this. And
what's the difference?
Transferring over. Not, I'm just saying. Yeah, hey, why can't he win?
I saw the reason he can't. I think he's better. I think he's a better horse than More Grateful, but I don't know how good he is. He's got to break through the non-winners of 2. Big gap between the non-winners of 1s and the non-winners of 2s with the New York breds.
He could use some hit. He could use a little hitting up front too.
No to off the claim for you?
No, I don't like. You don't like this horse. How could you like this horse?
Oh, but you never know. The magic wand this horse could be like Pegasus. You just fly off to the winner's circle. Can't win on paper, but he wouldn't be the first one.
Talk about getting a good trip last time, huh?
He can't win on paper, but he wouldn't be the first one to win from that barn that can't win on paper. No. So I don't know.
This one would be a reach. This one would be a reach.
I agree with you.
Even I had to stay away from that guy, from that horse. Yeah.
Winter Memories. Winter Memories. Such a nice horse for Jimmy Toner. How many races do we have named for that family line that Jimmy Toner trained? Memories of Silver. The Winter Memories. There are plenty of Grace, I think we have, and there's one more, I think.
There's at least 4, and I think he has 5 or 6 over because there's a Wonder again.
He has Wonder again.
5 or 6 overall. When we do the breakfast at Belmont in normal times, when we pass Jimmy's barn, I was like, you guys might not know who Jimmy Toner is. You should. But nobody has more horses with stakes named after them at Naira than Jimmy Toner does.
It really is great.
Unbelievable.
It's great. Well, they were all good horses.
Yep.
And Jimmy's such a terrific trainer, terrific guy. It's always nice. I always like thinking, I do love the names of races, especially horses that we know. I don't even mind sometimes if they're kind of obscure to remember the horses. I like that.
Did you have a favorite one of his fillies?
Well, I remember many years ago.
I was a Wonder again.
Well, I remember many years ago Jimmy taking me into I knew nobody. I was in the backstretch of a friend long before I was doing any work in racing. And we went by where Memories of Silver was in her stable. I've told the story before, and Jimmy let me walk up to her and pet her and stuff, and I never forgot that. And it was really nice of him. And he didn't know me at all. I was just somebody in the backstretch of Saratoga, and shows how much doing things like that, how much it helps create fans and goodwill it engenders. And so I always loved her. But I loved all these horses. How did you not love Winter Memories?
I loved them all, too. I was a big... I was a big Wonder Again fan. She won the
inaugural Breeders'
Garden
Cup.
City.
She won the inaugural Breeders' Cup.
That was Memories of. Wasn't Wonder Again. That was.
She didn't win it.
No, she didn't win the Breeders' Cup. The other filly did.
Soaring Softly.
Yes,
we got one of them too.
Yeah, we had one of them too. There was 6. I knew there was 6. That was the 6th one. Wonder Again won the Garden City.
Well, she and Risk Averse used to have those great rivalries, right?
Did she beat Risk Averse in that Garden City that year?
She won. She won the Diana. Wonder Again. I think it was the first turf race the Saratoga meet. We ran it the first weekend when it had rained the whole week, and it was a pristine course, even though we had a lot of rain. And we ran, and Bailey was on the heavy favorite. And that was the only time I ever saw Jerry Bailey get mad when some guy gave him a hard time.
Is that My Typhoon time, maybe? Could that have been My Typhoon?
I thought it was a Frankel horse.
You thought it was a Frankel?
You could be right, but I thought it was a Frankel horse. My Typhoon is a half 2.
Galileo.
Yeah. She's one of the first horses around over here that I remember being bought at Tattersall. Yeah. Anyway, so Anthony didn't handicap this race. He just bet a horse that he likes.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
Not true at all.
Yes, it is. Anyway,
you guys all think Duopoly's getting loose on a lead in here.
Well, she is the speed. I mean, I don't know what planet you're on, but she's the speed. Anyway, we'll take a look at Selflessly and Speaking to Me of Summers' last race. You know, a lot of people they don't understand trouble. There's no question that Speak to Me of Summer got herself a little jammed up. At the end of the day, though, she also saved ground and was angling out. Yes, the winner got ahead of steam while she got jammed up for a second. Joelle barely stopped riding her, and she started running sort of at the end. She ran fine, Speak to Me of Summer. She's a nice horse. You're picking Selflessly in here. Explain to me how you excuse her last race.
I'm picking Selflessly.
How do you excuse her last race?
Hold on. I'm hoping the give in the ground is what is going to help her today, because it certainly seemed to help in the Lake George.
Okay, but how do you excuse her last race?
I can't really excuse her last race.
Awful.
And again, what I'm saying is I am basing it on the fact that she ran the best race of her life on a ground that had some give in it. And
so that's the excuse you manufacture for a horse that you just happen to love.
I haven't manufactured everything. I haven't manufactured anything. I don't
the problem is, Anthony, there was some give in the ground last time.
She did not run particularly well.
There was some give in the ground last time. It wasn't exactly a super firm turf horse.
You know, I mean, we had almost 3 inches of rain here, Andy. So.
I'm talking about her last race.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm saying I don't think that it was considerably firmer than the way she ran in Saratoga. Okay, fine. I don't get it. I hope she runs well. I hope you're right. I don't see it. I've got her 4th. Frankly, I think Vigilante's Way is the horse to beat in this race.
I don't know if I disagree with that.
Yeah, I will take a look at her last race. This is the one you and I were annoyed that Shug snuck off to Colonial.
Mm-hmm. He got paid $7.20
in like a 4-horse field or something, and should have paid $2.20.
5-horse field, $7.20.
Yeah, that was really annoying.
Stupid Saratoga.
That was really annoying. It was our fault for missing.
That was our biggest problem in Saratoga this year. We came into work on Wednesday.
I was so annoyed.
Do you believe Vigilante's Way paid $7.20 at Colonial?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That was not a fun Wednesday on.
She's okay, this horse. You know, Eva Lynn's not bad, who beat her last time. I mean, she's got to have to be better than her last race. But
isn't she faster than Duopoly?
No, she's not a speed horse. But she'll be somewhat forward, but she's not a speed horse. And Duopoly, honestly, was unaggressively ridden last time out. We'll take a look at Duopoly winning up at Saratoga 2 races back. Listen, I understand this track was playing in her favor, and even being the speed doesn't mean you get to the winner's circle. It's a flawed notion. I think she could be okay, and I don't think she was effective rating last time. I think she's a horse that needs to be allowed to free run. I think she's a better horse when she's free running. At the end of the day, Lachar and I, the Soldier, aren't bad horses. Now, she's meeting much better horses in here.
Much.
But I'm going to give her a chance. I think the question here is Cristal. Cristal's going to get her fair chance time. She did not have a fair chance in her last start.
Not at all.
I think the problem with her is, she's never had a chance to show what she can do as a 3-year-old. But it's not an easy field.
It's not. It's not.
I mean, this is a grade stakes quality field. This is not a bunch of slouches.
And I'm being serious with you. Part of the reason, and maybe you're right about the course last time, but part of the reason I picked Selflessly is because of the course 2 back. This filly would have ordinarily been the top pick. I'm a big fan of this filly. Not only is she going to get a chance today, she's going to be a good price today. Because
she should be.
Yeah, she's supposed to be a good price.
I thought you would
today.
Pick her on top. I knew you'd know. I thought you'd pick her second to Selfless.
I almost did. I almost did. If this was firm ground, I probably would have. Just like I said, I just think Selflessly really reacted well to the wet ground. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm using the 3 of them.
Curious what your Summer excuse will be next time.
Speak to me of Summer. What do you do with her? I know she won here last year. You liked her a lot in the Chelsea Flower when she paid a big price.
She's a horse who can win the race. She's
Yeah,
consistent. She usually shows up and runs well. She didn't want a mile and 3/16. I think a little less distance is better for her. She's a logical horse who's going to get a good trip with Joel.
You know what's funny about that? I thought she might want a little more ground. I just think she was in a bad spot. Based on the Lake Placid, and then
she got a perfect trip in the Lake Placid. That's what happened to her that day. She got lucky. Maybe. I thought she might want a little bit more ground. But the best race she's ever run arguably was her last race, and that was at a mile. So I don't know what the little more ground means. Did she run well in the Saratoga Oaks? She was awful in that race.
She had the best trip in the Saratoga Oaks. That's me. Maybe you're right.
Well, she had a good trip because it was a slow-paced race.
Maybe it's splitting. I don't know. She's going to be, and I think she'll be favored in here, and I think there's more attractive alternatives.
Okay. No, I'm not. I thought it was a tough race. A lot of horses could win. Race number 10, unless you want to take Brad Cox, second-time star going turf to dirt at 7, 8, and 9, so maybe 2, 7, 8, and 9. I don't really know who else you can play. We'll take a look at Debo's first race when finishing second to half right. Playing against horses for the most part out of this race has proven to be profitable, or at least.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but now it's blinkers, it's a drop, it's, you know.
First horse to beat.
It's a winter, it's an Aqueduct maiden 40 as opposed to Saratoga and Belmont maiden specials.
Yep.
There's nothing else to really say
the
about
The logicals usually do okay in here. 7, 8, 9 are the horses. And the 7, Devious Mo, I just thought would be second choice and probably ran some better fields overall.
It's kind of hard to really make a case for any of the others in here. I mean, if you want to give Bowing Snowman one more chance, it was sloppy track first time. I know.
Comes out of the worst race of the maiden race of the entire year in New York.
Well, let me ask you a question. If he was a firster, would you consider him at all in here?
But he's not a firster.
I understand that, but he ran in a slot.
So what? Anthony, you and I are on completely different planets. I don't think the slot matters in general. You think it's the be-all and end-all, and I don't.
I don't think it's the be-all and end-all, but I think with a 2-year-old first-time starter...
Wasn't even bet in a terrible field. 5-horse field.
I understand all that.
Okay, he's all yours. I
don't particularly like him, but I mean, if you want
there's a 20-to-1 chance that he absolutely can't stand up on a wet track and he's going to run the prerequisite 15 lengths better in this race.
I don't know if it's necessarily that. Maybe maybe he didn't like the slot. Maybe he'll be better second time. It's fast ground.
He's coming out of a terrible race, and he's 5-to-1 morning line.
None of these horses faced future Empire Classic winners, I don't think.
That's, Anthony, that's not the point. You can always say they didn't face stakes horses. That horse was...
What have any of them really faced? Right? You basically
well, Anthony, you're making a case for him. He's not in your top 4.
No, I'm just saying you basically, because we kind of both said, 2, 7, 8, 9...
I mean, the interesting horse is whether or not Double Pour can run better.
Yes.
Because he comes out of tough races. The number 8 Double Pour was, you've got him 4. See, I think he's the interesting price horse in here. Put it this way, I like to bet Pick'em that he finishes ahead of Bowing Snowman in this race. Double Pour was 4 wide against a Gold Rail last time out, so he had a bit of an excuse. Now, the inside was placed to be 2 back, and he didn't run particularly well, but at least he has a big excuse last time.
He's drop down, there's another drop down.
Yeah,
I got it.
I think he's the interesting ones of the 7, 8, 9. Listen, the 2 is the Brad Cox barn, but they don't win in New York like they do out of town. The thing about Daggerbore is the dam has run a Dub, who was a dirt horse. Now, maybe running this horse in the turf first time is just a bad sign, but from the pedigree standpoint, this horse is supposed to be better in the dirt.
And this is the horse that might be the same price. I mean, I think I could see this horse and Double Pour being the same price, and I think this horse might be the interesting little bit of a price.
Well, I wonder, if he's going to really be a much bigger price than Bowing Snowman. I don't know how anybody's betting that horse.
David had him double the price on the morning line.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe based on your theory, maybe based on your idea, to ran on the turf first time.
Yeah, but
out.
they're going to bet on Cox, aren't they? They just bet everything the guy enters.
You would think. I see.
Was there a Breeders' Cup race he didn't win?
I thought, the only one, the horse I had an opinion, I thought Bardo was going to run well. He beat one.
Somebody said something about talk that Monomoy Girl could run the Cigar. Did you hear that?
I have not heard that. I thought maybe the Clark to take a run at Horse of the Year.
Well, which race is going to help her win Horse of the Year more? And you think she wants to come back in 3 weeks suddenly? An extra 8 days.
Out of her stall, on a track she's undefeated on.
Best race this year is a mile.
Best races at Belmont in a month. Yeah.
What do I hope she comes to Cigar Mile. I'd love to see her, and I'd love to bet against her.
Well, I'll tell you what. She runs in the clock.
I have a very low over-under.
She runs in the clock on the Cigar Mile and wins. I would probably give her my horse of the year vote.
Yeah. I'm sorry you have a vote. Because I don't see how she's even in a discussion.
Win against the boys, I think, kind of opens it up a little bit.
Okay, didn't Swiss Guy ever do that in the Preakness?
Yeah, listen, Swiss Skydiver, yeah. I mean, it was unfortunate.
I'm not saying she should be horse of the year.
The start was unfortunate. Her start on the distaff pretty much, and I mean, you see those pictures that Kenny tweeted out. I mean, her hoof looks like it was ripped off.
I don't follow Kenny on Twitter.
It looked like it was. It looks ugly. It's an ugly scene. They thought it was going to be superficial at first, but it's not. So they were talking about. I think they were thinking about running her back, either here or in the Clark
or the Japan Cup.
Now
was the Japan Cup ever mentioned?
No, it was not. But now that's off the table.
The Shima.
There's
always the Shima.
I won't be surprised if they were thinking Pegasus. She ran well at Gulfstream, and now it's all off the table.
Turf or dirt? Which one?
The dirt.
You sure?
The dirt. Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to keep anything off the table.
Turf? She may have run on the turf once. That was Monomoy girl broke her maiden on the turf. Indiana Grand.
I'm aware.
How about that?
Yes. I also know the person, Mike Doheny, who suggested perhaps they run this horse in the dirt and stop running her Indiana Grand on the turf.
She paid $8 in the rags to riches.
Okay.
I couldn't believe she was $8.
Okay. Ruffian paid $10 in her first start.
How crazy is that?
Didn't the firm pay like 70 something?
Yeah.
Okay. Shadow Slew paid $6.
Zenyatta paid like I'm not comparing Zenyatta to those horses, but a popular
8 to
horse
1 or 14 to 1 or 17 to 1.
Bobby Frankel called me and my old man sitting at home.
Okay, we're going to the stories on Anthony's tips that won. I want some stories from Anthony on tips that lost. Could you please come up with 5 stories on tips you got that lost? No, we never do.
Latent heat. Oh.
Okay, head over to Naira Bets and you can bet all these tips.
What a brutal beat that was.
All these tips. How about they ran 7th? You get a $200. We'll match your $200 initial deposit. Use match 200.
First time.
Naira Bets. Yeah, you told me he was a freak. Freak, I recall. You told me. Tough beat with him yesterday, by the way. Tough beat with him yesterday.
Thanks.
Some horse that beat you 3.
Well, it's the name. It's Johnny I and his Bronx Bombers.
NairaBets.com for more information. Sport racing in New York. Play through NairaBets. Also, cross country pick 5. Races 8 and 9 here, and races 6, 7, and 9 at Churchill. Keep in mind, Churchill Downs, no turf racing at least through next weekend, though they won't card anymore after today. There were a few carded today, the 10th, and is it the 7th? Is that the sprint that came off?
I believe so.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's the cross-country Big 5. Those are fun. Good value in those. East to west bonus, 25 or more to win. Del Mar Aqueduct. We done?
That's it, my man.
I haven't watched a race at Del Mar yet, have you?
We covered on the Friday afternoon program on HRN, so yes, I had to.
Richard Mandela won a 2-year-old race yesterday, of course. I was reading Jay Pribman and a nice write-up about the horse. All right, we done? Time for Johnny.
It's not a reprise.
It's not a reprise. Assuming Johnny I's got the scratches, I think they're out. Johnny I will have the scratches now.
This guy don't stop.
As we head into a Sunday here at Aqueduct.
By
the way, it's a fun card today.
Yeah.
Thursday's card is excellent.
Yeah.
Weather's supposed to be nice all week, so we're going to have some good turf racing. And I think you see when the rain stopped, yesterday's card was excellent. Today is good. Going to be a strong few weeks here at the Big A. Keep the weather at bay, and it's supposed to be clear all week. Johnny I is up next.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Aqueduct. Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies. It is breezy here at the Big A. Temperature will be in the mid to upper 50s. The main track is fast. The turf courses are good. Portable rail up at 12 feet on the outer turf and at 9 feet on the inner. We have an Empire 6 jackpot carryover of more than $98,000. And right now, we'll take a look at the changes for today's 10-race card. In the first race, scratch 10, Release the Thunder, 11, Apache Brave, 12, Brush Country, and 13, McErin. Scratch 10, 11, 12, and 13 out of the first. The second race is the Key Cent Stakes. No changes, and please note there'll be no show wagering on race 2. In today's third race, we have these scratches. Scratch 2, Bellarmine Hall. 3, Tenderfoot. Scratch the 5, Shadowcaster. 10, Centerfold Prospect. 12, Blood Moon, and 13.